And I think that that's kind of like maybe what is like the secret sauce to like how we create is that.
Welcome back, everybody. Today's guest is Bethany Joy McCarthy. How are we doing?
We're doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. Just got the little one entertained with some Pixar.
Nice. My boys are upstairs watching the Mets right now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, mine's not quite that old yet. She's 2.5.
Oh, that's a fun age.
Yeah, yeah, she's obsessed with Mickey Mouse, Monsters Inc., stuff like that.
Paw Patrol.
Well, yeah, the greats. I wanted to have you on today because you are a phenomenal artist, storyteller. You're a musician. I just found your podcast, all around creative. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. I'm a mom of 3 boys, ages ranging from 11 to 4. And like you said, I do lots of different types of creative stuff. Um, I got started out doing like collage and painting and just slowly kind of worked my way into all the other different avenues that you can express yourself in. And
Nice.
yeah, I've been living here in New York for like 12 years now. I'm from all over the world and the country. But yeah,
Right. And for those who don't know, you're married to Kyle McCarthy.
I am. I
Yeah.
am. Also a
Yeah.
creative.
Yeah. Go back and check out episode 7, I think it is, and you'll hear a little bit more about that. But we're not here to talk about him.
We can. There's a
we,
lot of
we,
overlap, I think.
yeah, that's what I'm finding here is some overlap. So we got a good bit of like teamwork, a good bit of life, good bit of family on the list here. Let's start out with how you guys met each other.
We have a really, really cute meet cute, actually. When I saw you were gonna ask about that, I was like, "Oh, yes. I love talking about it." Um, so, like, gosh, like 13 years back now, there was, like, Hurricane Irene that was happening, and there was supposed to be, like, a surf competition in our town in Long Beach, New York, and they were gonna have a huge concert. There were gonna be, like, so many different bands playing, and the town decided to cancel it, um, and my friend was like, "No, you can't cancel it," so he wanted to get the whole town together to be like, it would be good for the town, it would bring in a lot of revenue, um, but they wanted to cancel it, like, to be safe for the hurricane, but it passed and nothing happened, but they still didn't wanna have it. So my friend starts a
Yeah.
petition and gets, like, the city involved, calls me up and is like, "Hey, will you help me? We're gonna go talk to the city manager." And he also was friends with Kyle and invited Kyle to come as well, and we met there at City Hall. I kinda, like, scooched over and sat by him, and then just, like, each day after that, there would just be random times of us kinda, like, bumping into each other, and, I, like, worked up the nerve to ask for his number, and he, like, wrote it on my arm like in a movie or something, I don't know, and so
Yeah.
yeah, after that, like, we bumped into each other on the train, and it just kind of felt like we just clicked, and that's
Seems
the
like you guys are
story.
also, from what I've been researching, you guys are very cause driven, and that's what brought you guys together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. All art for a good reason, I think.
totally. So how
Yeah.
long have you guys been married now?
I think we're going on 12 years now?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Long time, yeah. I'm not married yet. We're looking, I think, forward to it. Just got a lot of moving parts right now ourselves.
Yeah, I feel like there's no, like there's a whole thing that Kyle and I, we talk about because we got pregnant before we got married, we were dating for only, like, 7 months, and, everybody has this idea of, like, checking the boxes in the right time, but, like, it really is just about, like, the path that's right for you, and you guys have your adorable little baby, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be your all your right timing.
I think when I was about 18, that's definitely what I was trying to do. Check all those boxes, and now it feels like the longer you live, the better you get at figuring those kinds of things out. And what boxes are really important, and and it's very different
Exactly.
for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
raising a family is our next topic. Um, uh, there's actually a lot to say about that. Um, so when did you have your first kid?
So I was 21 when I got pregnant with Judah, and he was the ring bearer at our wedding. I was 22, like, so it was the next year. And that was just another story of like Kyle and I were just kind of like hanging out. like and I was like, "Oh, I'm not feeling great. Like, what's going on?" And I go to the doctor and they're running all these blood tests and they're like you're pregnant. And he happened to have driven me to like the doctor that day and it just like starts downpouring rain and it was just like like these very cinematic moments in our life, just like all these things happening exactly how you would see it in a movie. It sounds like hilarious to describe it back. But it just
Yeah.
kinda, like, set us like, we were gonna play a show that night, we went, and it was our first and last show that we played together, and it just kinda set us on this trail of, like, constantly, like, trying to grow as people, to learn to grow as parents, and then also trying to figure out how and where we fit in with, like, how we wanted to create and what we wanted to bring into this world, like, with our art as well.
So you guys were doing creative stuff together before you having children?
We were writing a lot of music together, we wrote we wrote an album together under the band Betty and the Brutes, and
Oh.
uh, my little guy's actually passing through right now. Hey, babe. The air smells so clean outside. The air
You're
smells
good.
clean.
That's good. That's good to hear.
Good to
That's
hear.
good notes. It feels awesome out here tonight too because it's like real fall weather. It's not
Oh,
too
yeah.
cold. It's actually kind of a little warm out here, but you can definitely smell it. Fall is here.
It feels good, right?
So you guys were doing the music before. Okay.
Yeah,
See,
and,
I had heard of one of you guys' projects, but I hadn't heard of that one yet.
yeah, so that one, we were in, like, post-production of with our friend that does, like, all the sound design and stuff like that for all of our projects. Um, and so we never, like, really released it, but we would play, like, little town shows and stuff like that. Um, and that was super fun. It was really, like, lovey-dovey kinda stuff. Um, Kinda, like, a little bit shoegazy, a little, like, indie pop thrown in there a little bit. Um So yeah, that was our little jam, and we would make little collages. I would make collages for him for his, like, birthdays and stuff like that, so he found little ways to, like, sneak in the creative moments.
More and more. Gotcha.
Before we got on Instagram, this was all pre-Instagram stuff.
Yes. Yeah, for any context of anybody,
Mhm.
I started following you guys within the past year or two, and I've just been captivated ever since. You guys are great.
That's so sweet.
Well, like I admire the everything you guys do creatively, and then obviously I'm getting to know you guys personally a little more, and raising a family is really hard. So I admire how much you guys are able to do and have healthy parent relationships and stuff like that. So how do you guys fit in like all the creative stuff?
Um, you know, I appreciate that you're just, like, healthy parent relationships and you got all the boundaries in place and everything. I, like, don't want anyone to have, like, any illusion that we have, like, all these little, like, all our ducks in a row or anything, because it's not that by any means. We were just, like, literally on a speed date right now because his mom was like, "Hey, you guys, like, haven't gotten a chance to, like, go on a date," and so I was like, "It's 7 o'clock." We run over to get some Thai food. We're talking, and we're talking about the struggles of the day, like, super fast, and we had, like, 30 minutes, and I just, like, ran home and got ready to get on this call.
Oh, wow. I'm
So
so
it's just
sorry to
like, no, no, no,
interrupted that.
not at all. I was, like, so happy to be able to do this, but it's just, like, a funny just kinda like a good picture of kinda, like, how we do
Yeah,
things. We always have to, like, tick the boxes, like, as fast as we can and as well as we can, as hard as we can, and I think that that's kind of, like, maybe what is, like, the secret sauce to, like, how we create is that we don't have any time, like, there's no time, and so the second that we have, it's like you're gonna get the most rough, the most, like, raw type of art that we could possibly produce, which can be really great because, like, there can't be that much that will look like it because of
yeah,
that. Like, because we can't do the overthink, which is something that we really struggle with. So if we had this extra time, we would potentially not be creating, like, anything. Because I would never put anything out if I had a second to, like, think about it a little longer. Um,
right. I feel
so
yeah,
that's
the
kinda
mindset is definitely different with
yeah,
parenting like creatives. I
yeah,
think I realized before Violet was born, I would have moments where I was bored, and I would sit or like do something that I want to do, like maybe like read or play a game, watch a movie. But
I
now
agree.
I just the other night I was like, there's not a moment where I've ever been bored. Like I can't
You'll
remember
never be
like
bored.
yeah, not at
Never bored
all.
with kids.
And those free moments are fitting in the creative act. It's really it is really hard, and I struggle breaking my flow state too when I come back to a project. Like
Yeah.
you said, it's hard to really get invested, so it's going to come out as a different project than what it could be, but it's always going to be one of a kind. Like
Yeah.
I'm proud to just like spill my creative guts and then move on because I got way more to get out.
Yeah. I got dishes to do. I got
That
long
too,
form
yeah, I got life to
projects.
do. Yeah. Yeah, dishes, meals, all that stuff is daily. Driving, gotta
Oh
go
my
on walks,
goodness.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Definitely.
So I think if anybody's listening, know that it is possible and we all struggle. It is not perfect.
Yeah, definitely, but it makes it precious.
Yeah. Um, I saw Kyle's documentary, We Like It Here. Was that before you said before you guys had kids or
So we like it here. I don't know if you talked about it in your episode with him. I think
a
you
little
did.
bit?
Um,
Yeah.
so he kind of like posed the question, like, what if a hurricane swept away Long Beach? He was working on that project with a friend of his. I want to say it was the summer before we met, or maybe a full year before you met. But then, after the year after Hurricane Irene was Superstorm Sandy, and he was kind of capturing footage of all of that
Yeah.
happening. I was about 7 or 8 months pregnant with Judah when that happened. So, when he was working on We Like It Here, Judah was probably about, like, 1. Yeah, he was a baby. He was little.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate to bring up like any traumas that might come from it, but yeah,
No,
that might have been
no,
insane.
if you saw, it's actually extremely embarrassing. Um, my anxious state is very, like, bubbly and, like, giggly and stuff like that, so the, like, footage he has of me during that time is so embarrassing. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, look at the river," like, flowing through our street, like, it was,
Yeah.
like, 4 or 5 feet of water, like, flowing down it, and I'm just like, "Wow, this is crazy," like, and it's terrifying. I was, like, so pregnant.
So, oh yeah, totally candid. I've wanted to ask about pulling out the camera during those moments. Like it's hard to figure out, and a lot of people wouldn't understand. But I think on ARTBOX here, the guests should understand that. Like we're all living and being creative.
Mhm.
Um, and it kind of just tied into what he was already working on. It's like kind of odd.
Yeah, yeah. He does always have
How do
that camera handy.
yeah? How do you keep the creativity going during times like that? Like, was it a while before you guys ever got back to it?
Yeah, he was just kinda capturing stuff on his camera, like, throughout the whole time that we were that all this was happening, all the different places that we were living, and he really did need some time. Like, he started working on it, like, pretty quickly afterwards, but then there was, like, a gap, like, he'd started a whole, like, fundraiser to try and fund to get it finished, and, I think that, like, once it became really real, he was like, "Oh, no, like, I have to actually process all that just happened." Like, he really genuinely, like, lost his home. I didn't I didn't really lose anything because we hadn't moved in together or anything like that, and our house was okay, all my stuff was fine, um, but, like, they lost a lot of, like, really treasured items and, like, his parents' hope chest and everything that was brutal, um,
Ooh,
so it was just, like that's when, like, I Judah must have been, like, 2 or something like that, so he was really, really struggling with that, I think, for a while.
yeah, I'm probably focused on like it focused on the project in spurts, and then just focused on a lot of life.
Yeah, he totally dropped that, and, like, that's, I think, when he picked up doing, his short films and stuff like that, and, kind of doing a lot of more, like, introspective stuff, which turned out to be, a really great kinda segue into more filmmaking that was, like, narrative and stuff like that.
Definitely. Yeah. Going from music and, arts to doing more film, which I have a good bit of that on here. And we've talked about you guys we're going to be talking about you guys being a creative couple. I don't know why I put that on there. Um, the musical history together. So did he lose like instruments and stuff like that during those times or?
I think his instruments were all okay because it was all just pretty much the first floor that was wiped out, and that was just, like, unfortunately, a lot of their, like, family photos and stuff like that, like, that was the bulk of it, but all his room was, like, up, so all of his instruments were fine, and all that was okay, so we pretty much
That's good.
started right back in on doing music and stuff like that.
What kind of because I have a lot of questions to ask him next time he comes on. I found out about multiple instruments, the surfing, a good bit of stuff. What are some of
Prolific.
your instruments? Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
What are some of your instruments? Because I saw you play guitar.
Yeah, I play guitar, I can, like, screw around on the piano a little bit, but, singing is my main thing.
Nice.
Um, I could play a little bit of bass, and, when I was little, I did violin, but that's something that I would like to pick up again. Okay.
So you're pretty familiar with the scale, how it translates.
I'm a little
Just
familiar.
yeah, that like when I use the guitar, like yeah, like I know the notes and everything. And if you give me a keyboard, I can like give me a couple minutes, but it's not going to be anything.
Yeah.
Like I
I mean, I'm not gonna
yeah.
write, like I'm not gonna write, like, a symphony or anything, and I'm definitely not like Jacob Collier level, like, "Oh, this is the key," or whatever, like, not definitely not that level, but, like, I can get by for sure.
You're definitely ambitious. Yeah, definitely to take on all those different things. And singing isn't the easiest thing either. There's a lot of bad. So I'm not very good myself. um, so you guys play music together, you create together. Let's talk about some of that filmmaking. I started paying attention to more of the credits, and saw that you were behind the camera a lot of times, and in a lot of roles, basically.
Yes. Yes.
How's that experience?
I love it. I've always enjoyed filmmaking, from being little, me and my stepdad would watch, like, all the old cinema together, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, we'd watch Blue Velvet before I was old enough to probably watch it. All these different, films that I would just really, like, hone in on the cinematography of it, and, pretty much anyone that I could talk to about, like, how a shot is set up, like, I just really enjoy that, and I enjoy, picking apart dialogue and, the unspoken dialogue, that's something that really, like, lights me up for sure.
Oh yeah. I think once you start tipping like into it a bit, like you started finding more and more that you loved about it. I'm sure, like before filmmaking and then after like making stuff, like it's a huge difference. Like I think a lot of us have went through those stages. Some of our audience may be there now where they're like, man, I just really would love to make something, and really just took, just doing it
Doing
and,
it. That's what it takes.
yeah, yeah, picking up and, getting behind the camera and finding those different things that you love about it. Because
Hmm.
once you find those like points, you kind of get addicted. Like with editing,
Definitely.
I love like putting stuff together. I don't love doing it a lot. Like I'm very burnt out at the moment, I can
Mm.
say. But once it's like going good and you're, healthy in a state, to enjoy it, uh, then it's fun. And the filmmaking part's definitely fun. I get a nice adrenaline like after turning the camera off. I'll talk people's heads off. um, what's it like in front of the camera for you?
Um, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at first. I
No.
definitely behind the camera, like directing. Directing is my favorite, but in front of the camera, I started to get used to. Um, I really only feel comfortable in front of the camera with Kyle, though. Like, there's not like if someone wants to take a picture of me, even I get really uncomfortable. I'm not about it. That's why I think you don't see very much of me like doing the type of stuff that Kyle does, where he can like talk to the camera and have that kind of rapport with a video.
Yeah.
um, that's that was always like really difficult, but he made it very comfortable, and I think maybe I have that effect on him too when I'm the one directing and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's different, like maybe vibe when you guys are creating separately. Like of course I take in your guys' content separately, your art series and then, a lot of his storytelling. But it's great you guys have this creative space to come together and like that's where like maybe he does some stuff that he wouldn't normally do too.
Right.
Yeah.
He's very talented in front of the camera. I like specifically I always call back to this one scene in Club Soda, I think it was, and he delivers this like off the cuff monologue where he's like on the dock and he's just like fully breaking down. And like all of our friends had come to the party, like, not really knowing what they were, like, coming to be filmed or anything like that, and so we
Okay.
wanted, like, a raw reaction from them, and we told them, like, "Okay, we're gonna, like, do a scene really quickly," and so we got like, I was getting everybody's, like, fresh reaction to him delivering this, and I think nobody expected that he could, like that he had, like, those kind of acting chops, and, I would
Yeah.
really love to see more of that for Kyle,
That's
so.
great you mentioned that because that's the clip that I pulled for me and Kyle's episode
Oh,
from
nice.
that movie. I didn't know that. That's awesome. That's a great way to set it up. You guys are so artistic, like, layers where people don't even know it's happening.
Sneak right up
But,
on
like
them.
yeah, like, everybody afterwards be like, "What the heck was that?" Everybody laugh about it a bit because I know
It
he
was
jumps in the
good.
water.
Yeah, yeah, that was the best, that was the best. He just totally committed, and then we, like, did a second take and got, like, a secondary, like, acted out reaction just in case, but, like, everyone's,
Yeah.
like, preliminary response was so awesome.
Sometimes I work with my brother's, film company where we make, like, short films and stuff. We have one, on the Creative Jargon channel called The Magic Pen, and, I can't really remember where I was going with that. That's probably the last time I've actually acted like that, like, narratively wise, but oh, I remember where I was going with it. Getting a party together for that kinda thing because we had a lot more projects, like, written out, and we've always wondered, like, what's gonna happen when we try to go do that, and we kinda need like, there was, like, a barbecue scene, so we want the yard to, have people in it.
Right.
So we've wondered about that kinda stuff, and that's a great way to do it. Do it naturally, and then be like,
Mhm.
"Alright, we're also gonna film a little something real quick."
PS.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're all on board.
Oh,
It all gets
everybody
talked
loves it.
about,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. we've gotten a lot
they
of
get a little
requests.
screen time too.
They love that.
You're an actor now.
Exactly. You made it.
That brings me to one of the last like film things I can think of. Recently on Instagram, you guys had the Mercedes Benz ad together.
Yes. That was
Yeah,
that was a big one.
how'd that come up?
Um, so I want to say that one was through Kyle's management. It's just kind of like they're like, "Hey, would you want to maybe do this thing for Mercedes-Benz?" And we're like, "Oh, yeah, that would be so sick."
Of course, I'm getting your
Uh,
perspective on
Yeah.
it. But I figured, yeah, you would know, like, would he be freaking out after getting a call or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kyle's freakouts are so like
I nerd out on stuff. As soon as Kyle and you guys, like, have both said, like, you were gonna come on, I'll be like, "Babe, can you believe it?" And I'll be walking, I'll sweat a bit. Like, I get
Kyle's very
nervous and
like calm
excited.
though. Like he's very like he'll just be like he just gets like big eyes. Like he doesn't to like jump up and down and laugh. There's like a couple of people that can get him to do that and it's like it's very rare. But like for this one, like you could just like feel and like palpably just like this is so awesome. And then
Oh,
and then
yeah.
we're actually filming it and it was so stressful and like trying to like film inside of this car was a wild
Did
experience.
you guys shoot all of that in one day?
No, we had a week, but it was supposed to be like nice weather and we just got rained out the entire week. It was like
Dang.
it was rough, but we managed to just like scrap it all together. Kyle is like the ultimate editing puzzler. And see, that's like the part of filmmaking that I like. I loathe the edit. Like if I can get it one take, that's me. Like I'm like we're gonna plan this out so well that we're only gonna do it once and that's all we're gonna need, or twice at most, and then we're just gonna use the full thing. We're not gonna cut it at all. Um, but he just like has such an incredible way to like puzzle things
It
together and
looked sunny, that's
it
for sure.
yeah,
It looked
we managed.
really
We
nice.
managed. We got all the little tiny moments in there.
I
So it
wouldn't have
worked out.
imagined it was a bad weather kinda week.
It was so bad, and it was so nerve-wracking because we drive, like, a giant minivan, and then driving this little sports car around and getting used to, like, how it works and everything was so crazy.
I bet that was awesome, yeah.
It was cool, it was cool.
Every time I'm in, like, a new car or rental or something, I'm looking at all the good gadgets we got to play with. Did you help, with, like, writing? I know he did, like, a dialogue on there and, uh, didn't know what else you might be, doing there.
Yeah, so, I was helping with, like, some, like, day of or, like, I guess, week of direction and stuff like that, but so for that kinda stuff, because they're such a high-end brand, everything has to be, like, extremely tight and, like, all put together ahead of time and, like, submitted, and, um, we have to say Mercedes-Benz, you can't say Benz, you can't say Mercedes, it's, like, all very, very
Did you
particular.
guys did you have to send him any storyboards or anything like that, or
Yeah, so he sent him, like, literally the whole package of what he was gonna be giving to them, like, before, so we were like, we literally have to get all these things and, like, deliver it." So that's
That's
when, like, the
awesome.
first day he was getting really stressed out, and that's when I was, like, fully coming into my moment of, like, directing is my literal favorite thing to do, like, this is my moment, and, like, I was just like, "We got this. You're gonna get through it. Like, don't forget to smile." And, like, he has to keep his hands at 10 and 2. He has to make sure he's always buckled. None of the lights on the dash could be, like, flashing in any specific way. So there were all these different things going on, and, like, we just had to keep, like, keying it in over and over until we were able to,
I
like
love those little film etiquettes, like, their checklist, you know? It's interesting because, I mean, it makes for a great, ad. You guys got some really good shots, and, the voiceover, obviously, that was, Kyle killed it, and,
Kyle with the voice.
Golden, uh, the golden
The
voice,
golden voice. The chosen voice.
and it comes off as, uh, very sunny, relationshipy. Let's travel. Let's see the world, and I think you guys executed perfectly. And I think that's the way to do it is to make sure you got make sure you got a good plan, good game
Got a
plan.
good plan. Gotta do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of plans, I've seen you've been struggling a little bit with the in real time digital portraits. I don't know what to
Oh,
call it.
woof,
Yeah, doing
woof.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a time lapse of it. Um
Yes.
and
That's been a nightmare.
oh, that's right. You're actually taking each one as frames and doing it. Have you
Mhm.
thought about possibly screen recording the whole process and then just cutting them
So
out? Is that where you get them from?
yeah, the ones that I post are just like literally the screen recordings, and I'm just like,
Okay.
I cannot be bothered to like, I cannot be bothered anymore with this. I was like, this is a terrible idea. I never want to do like even marginally realistic photographs ever again in my life. This was a great exercise. Please don't ever ask me to do this again. I still have one. There's one person. She's the sweetest person in the world. We've become like great friends on Instagram. I haven't met her in real life. And I owe her one. So it's just like floating above me and I have to get it done and I haven't done it. Oh Lord. So I've got to do it still. And obviously you can the whole public is seeing me publicly fail on this. Everybody's like, "I thought you were doing the series," and
No,
I'm not doing
that's
it.
great too because like it shows your exploration in different creative fields because like I mean a lot of people they'll stick to one thing. I mean and it's not even like you're really straying, you're just like evolving your
Mm,
processes, workshopping
I like
ideas
that. I like this
and
marketing that you're putting on it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I think
Explore this way.
workshops are good for learning tips and stuff. Like a lot of people might see that. And that's why I was sitting there thinking like of ways that I could like help. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, screen record, take screenshots out of that, but then you're still working with tons of millions of frames.
Ugh,
And
yes.
I hate frames myself. That's why if you see animation in my stuff, I do it as minimal as possible. I'll do like 3 or 4 drawings and like loop those.
But that's all you really need, like,
Yeah.
I don't know why I, like as soon as I started using Procreate, I fell into this, like, K-hole of, like that's not the right word for it.
Yeah.
I fell into a rabbit hole of, Procreate, just, like, the frame by frame. I can't get out of it, and I hate editing, so, like, I'm trying to
Yeah.
learn After Effects right now. I'm trying to learn, Illustrator to get proficient at it, and I'm just like, I'm getting really sick of this, like, digital format, honestly. Like, I kinda wanna go back to just watercolor, acrylic, and, like, maybe even go back to, like, just the pen and ink stuff that I was doing when I was, like, 16
Yeah, I wanted to
and
ask
just
about your
do that
traditional
stuff.
stuff because,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I know you guys have. I seen one of Kyle's paintings. That was awesome. I love that video too. And like, yeah, art is very subjective. I think that's kind of what he was getting into on there. Uh,
Yeah.
so you know, you like inks and watercolors. That's
I
exactly what I did
do.
that portrait of Kyle with.
It was
Which
really good, I loved that one, that was so great.
afterwards or something later on, I should send you guys that. I don't know why I didn't ask to send him that, but I don't like taking up people's time and stuff, so
No, I mean,
it didn't hit me.
I'm the same, but no, that's, your work is so great, and you
Thank you.
also have s you also do, like, so much stuff too, like, it's insane, like, I haven't even, like I haven't even been able to, like, dig fully into all this I know you do all the filmmaking and everything like that, it's crazy, like
Yeah, I'm trying to wear a lot of hats and be a dad. I'm full-time dad and full-time creator, so it's just, like, trying to figure it out, and this is my first year really doing it online the right way. For
yeah,
years, all I did like, for 10 years, all I did was post paintings and, like, fill out commissions and
yeah.
get by like that, and, like, that was fine, but then, like, I got addicted to filmmaking, That's what and then it's turned into this. Now we're on podcasts, now we're doing would one of the art videos I recently did has, that portrait I did of myself, where I get taken over by this book, and a puppet comes to life and finishes my painting and everything in the
So
video, so it's
cool.
like, now I'm doing puppets.
I love puppet artistry.
Me too.
Puppet-based artistry.
Um, Speaking of some of, the other things you've done, Height Collective. I wanted to talk about that because, I think you've some of the things we've even mentioned throughout this episode, apply to that project because life isn't always pretty. Like no matter how how clean our editing is on our artwork and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, we go out and do events and stuff, but don't think we don't go to the events and sell art. And she's not throwing a tantrum somewhere, getting Doritos stuck in her hair. That's not in my art videos. So, tell us a little bit about the Hype Collective.
Oh, hype is my baby. I started that with 2 of my very best friends, both who happen to be named Maria and both of whom are married to Seans. I don't know how it happened, but that's what it is. Um, so we just wanted to create a community that's, like, local in our town that, kinda helped moms connect with their creativity. So to give them, like, an outlet to express themselves in a creative way. It when you create something, you have, like, an idea of what it's gonna be, and it evolves into whatever it actually is supposed to be. So, like, we would try and put on events and stuff like that, and I got all the branding really tight and, like, whatever the graphic design for, like, the little flyers that I would make, like, painstakingly, like, sweating over all the colors and the typography, and then, like, literally no one shows up. Like, it's just, like, me and the Marias, and we're just, like but so the thing is that what it evolved into was it was
Well,
more
I just
of,
wanna
like
mention that kinda thing would blow up in my town. You would have
I
at least had at
appreciate
least, like,
that.
30 to
I
40
appreciate
people.
that. We definitely did
Maybe it's
not we didn't have the
maybe
right
it's because it
demographic.
was so large and saturated.
It was the wrong demographic, I think. Like, we have, like, all the moms here, like, definitely, it's like a sports heavy town, um, and we're kinda like the younger moms, and everybody already has their clique and everything like that, so not to say that, like, that couldn't eventually, like, work here, or if we'd, like, been able to give it the proper, like, at least 3 years time of, like, really trying to consistently do events where people are like, "Oh, they're, like, a mainstay." Um,
Yeah.
but, all of our lives pulled us in different directions, and, we did the Shut Up Mom podcast as well.
Yeah, so it evolved into, the 3 of you and doing, creative projects yourselves, and
Yes.
the Shut Up Mom podcast, I got to listen to a few episodes of that already, and, yeah, I wasn't expecting that, like, I keep asking people for things like, "Hey, you wanna be on ARTBOX podcast?" And, like, I think I'm forcing, like, talking on camera to them just to find out they've done, like, 100 episodes themselves. So it's all like, I love finding out more of this stuff, and the subjects you guys covered were, really cool to be able to put on and, like, while I was cleaning the house, doing my daddy duties, I was, like, listening to stuff about parenting, and basically it was women's problems, like,
Yeah.
perspective. But, I still understood. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I get it."
No, I gotta remember.
So so if anybody wants to listen to that, it is good, and I think you guys cover a lot of topics, like, sometimes, I think it was, like, the struggles of the day, you know?
Yeah, we tried to, like, cover the gamut, I'm, like, considering reviving it because me and, um me and one of the girls have just been, like, dying to connect and stuff like that, and our busy lives pull us, and so the podcast was actually it was really like, Heith and the podcast were really an excuse for us to, like, make specific time to sit down, even if it was for just, like, half an hour to 40 minutes to just connect and spend time together and talk about, like, our shared existence that sometimes feels, like, isolating, and that's kinda
Mhm.
what I tried to to infuse what we try to infuse into Hive and to the podcast.
I think it's it's an all around like creative project with kind of like what creative jargon is. A lot of people ask me, they're like, "So are you creative jargon? What is this and that?" I'm Dr. T Neal, and I host everything at Creative Jargon, and
Okay.
ARTBOX is just one of our shows.
Okay.
And I'm the host of the show, and I'm the only one that works on everything. But at a certain point, there will hopefully be more people involved. I have ideas of like a streetwear store for more creatives to like do their own thing, like
Love that.
because I know people have a hard time getting out in front of people. So I spend a lot of my time actually helping other creatives, and at the same time trying to do entertainment and education.
There you
So
go.
I
That's what
think
it's
it's
about. Supporting each other and getting each other there, wherever that is.
yeah, there's no competition when you're, hanging
Yes,
out with me. It's all about I want you to do better if you want me to do better. If you don't want me to do better, I'm not gonna be around you anyway, so
that's right.
you're not invited, yeah. So it sounds like the Hythe Collective, being your project, is still forming, and I think you definitely should bring back the, podcast, and hopefully this'll inspire you to,
I think so.
get to it.
I think so. I think so. It'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah, and every now and then, yeah, if that's, something that the 3 of you, do together, you guys can workshop all different kinds of ideas. Like, I when I was reading the post, it was, like, very, it was almost newsletter-ish, like, in a sense, and I really enjoyed that. I've been wanting to do something like that about creativity myself. So I look forward to more whatever you guys end up doing.
Aw, that means a lot. Thanks for saying that.
Oh, no problem. Um, that's the last topic I have for today. Do you have anything else coming up? You mentioned bringing back the podcast.
Bringing back the podcast, and I don't know. I don't think Kyle would mind if I share.
Let me
Kyle and
know
I.
later if I have to edit it out.
Okay. Um, no, I don't think he'll care. We're just gonna be working on. So I kind of alluded to it like previously on my Instagram, doing like title sequences and stuff like that. So we're gonna be doing kind of like mock title sequence collab together. So I started working on
Nice.
the first one, and then my long form project, hopefully like a little animation series that I can maybe one day pitch somewhere. I don't know where it's gonna be, but it's something that's really close to my heart. And maybe I'll even send you like quietly, just like little clips of what I have, so you can see
I
it, but
look
not for
forward to
anybody
it.
else.
Sneak peek. I got you.
Sneak
Yeah.
sneak peek.
They'll have to go to your socials to see if it comes out. See what you're talking about. Where can they
Mhm.
find you at?
Uh, at Bethany Joy McCarthy on Instagram and at Hythe Collective on Instagram for a little like encouraging stuff for moms. And that's where I'll be.
And then Shut Up Mom is also on the RSS feed, right?
Mhm. That's right.
Nice. All right. Well, that's everything for today. I enjoyed having you on, and hopefully you'll come back on at a later date.
That sounds great.
Yeah. All righty. Stay creative, folks.